everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. We should probably tell the good folks of our listening audience what we've been up to lately.
Life, y'all. Lots of stuff. Mary's had some really awesome classes lately. You should go take one of Mary's classes.
Oh, thank you, Jules. And you've been working hard and coming to visit me in Boston.
Yes, that was super fun. All of our people were like, you're going to make content. You're going to record while you're together. And we were like, no. We were like, maybe, but no.
No, that we did go up to Salem and look around. So you had your first visit up to Salem.
I did, and that was fun. And we didn't take one picture the entire trip.
We didn't.
Having too much fun.
Yeah. So I hope everybody out there has been doing really well. It's times just have not been matching up to record. So I apologize, everyone, because we've missed you.
That's just how it goes. But we've made it work again.
Yes. Hello.
We're back, hoes. Let's learn about rising signs.
If you're all wondering it was too long, didn't read, we're back, hoes. Let's talk about rising signs.
TLDR. We're back, hoes. What a way with words this communication degree gave me.
I'm telling you, I got one too, so I get it. Yeah. She will scorch him right at the wrong time. Miley, yes, that was the other one. Miley's a Sag.
Miley and Billie Eilish, apparently. That's a good lineup there.
In fact, Billie Eilish and I have the same birth date, not the year, obviously.
I love it. You have the Billie Eilish. Lady Gaga and I have the same. Also Jonathan Van Ness. And I'm like, yay. Not the same year, obviously.
But also fabulous.
But I'm also kind of like, what's different between our signs and our charts that makes them here?
Right. Well,
I feel like that on the inside and don't often let it out. Is that my Taurus rising?
Possibly. Could be.
I don't know.
Well, it's good to kind of look at whose sun signs are the same. I mean, obviously charts are different, but I'm kind of like, look at all these great Sagittarius women who are singers, and it's so I'll take credit. I'm like, oh yeah, we're all alike. But you're right. It's the manifestation of the talent can be in the chart, but the manifestation comes out through the person. I'm out in public in a different way. I'm a psychic medium and a podcaster and all that stuff. I like my life. It's fabulous.
I love it for you. It's good.
Yeah. So yeah, Gaga's in the Aries. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh yeah. We're both March 28ers.
Yes.
Yeah. And JVN. Yep.
I was looking at who else. Who's fabulous.
I love JVN so much.
Yes.
Reba McEntire is an Aries. Gotta love Reba McEntire.
Reba's not one to mess with. She's a sweet one, but she'll mess you up.
Oh yeah. Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Elton John.
Oh my God, some great people. There's
a lot in here. Diana Ross, people who can really sing. What happened to me?
No, there was. But a lot of like if you think about their personalities, I mean, they definitely like it was Diana Ross and the Supremes. Do you know what I mean? They always commanded like the front part of the stage, even if they were in a band. And what's funny about Gaga is they had a Facebook group that was like Stephanie Gemini. You'll never be famous. And she's like, and now they all go shopping in stores where my music is on. I think sometimes we forget that sometimes it does come around for us or we can't give up.
Well, let's go.
Well, it's a big thing. Like opinions can really derail us.
It's true.
And beliefs can derail us. If you find yourself saying that's not going to work for me, then it's definitely not going to work for you. And I know it's easy to say like, well, you just have to think more positive, but it's you have to kind of believe.
It's hard.
Yeah, you got to believe like in what doesn't seem believable. I think sometimes it's the living of your mind or your way of seeing how it could happen as opposed to what could really happen. See, that's the thing about psychic readings. When I tell someone I see something happening, there's no way that can happen. I'm like, okay, but I've got no horse in this race and you do, number one.
Right.
And number two, like I can see different possibilities because of everybody's own experience. You usually see one or two roads. But I don't have the same experience. So when I look at it from a psychic or another person looks at it, they take their experience into account. I also, as a psychic get information, but say you're talking to someone, say you're talking to someone one-on-one, their filters coming in. So sometimes people can see how it can happen differently. And it's just kind of funny when they're like, there's no way that can happen. And I'm like, all right, let's see. Yeah. And then it happened. I do psychic readings at the salon every once in a while. And I read her and I kept telling her, I see you moving from this particular building, but there's a man in your building. And she's like, yeah, there wouldn't be. I'm like, no, there's a man in your building. There's a man either upstairs or whatever. It turned out it was her husband moved into the office upstairs. So the man wasn't her building. It was her husband. But she kept saying, no, there's no way. There's no way. And then she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah, so sometimes the possibilities, how we see them, it doesn't mean that that's how it's going to happen or not going to happen. I struggle with that too, though. Sometimes I'm like, is that really going to happen? And then sometimes I'm like, I just got to go with it and hope it, and
Well, and that's like we were talking about yesterday when I was like, man, it's harder to read stuff for myself than for other people. And you're like, oh yeah, dude. And it's the same thing, right? You can't see possibilities past what they are.
Right. Oh, no.
Or like the situation you're in, it's harder to see more. Just like when I was trying to figure out how I was going to move past where I was in my career, and like all the readings I got and I read, I was like, how is this ever going to happen? This makes no sense. And then I go back to them and I'm like, oh, there it all was.
Here.
Like really specifically laid out about how exactly it went. And I was like, okay, I need to calm down and just
sorry.
Be like, okay, sorry, my man.
Yeah, sometimes the spirits do know better. Actually, all the time the spirits know better. Hey, we were going to talk about rising signs tonight, yeah?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Do you guys want to know about rising signs?
Fun. Yes. Now, Jules, now your rising is what?
So I'm a Taurus rising originally and currently, but Mary had taught me about relocated charts. So for the majority of my life, is it majority now? I don't know. I'm getting old and I've been in Virginia a while. When I lived in Alabama and Mississippi, I was a triple Aries. Apologies to everyone who knew me then.
Girl.
But that girl did not stop and was competitive AF. She was like, we're moving all the time. Let's go.
And now where you are in Virginia, you're a Taurus rising?
Yeah. And where I was born, I was a Taurus rising. So, because I was born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, right. And then moved to Alabama, and that's where you, okay. So yeah, so anytime you move, so that's why it's important, guys, if you get your chart done, you want to do it from where you were born. And then if you've moved more than 100 miles away from where you were born, you want to run it for the city you're currently in. They call it relocation charts. And part of the reason why that's important is because you can tell how your money's going to be or your career, whatever it is, wherever you move to. So even before you move, you might want to run a chart of the places that you want to move to, because then you can see how things are going to go. Have someone do it for you. So my rising sign, because I've stayed in Massachusetts my whole life and lived in Massachusetts, is Pisces. So what happened is when you were born, there was a sign coming over the horizon, and that is what your sign is as your rising sign. Now, that's why having the birth time is very important. If you don't have your time, we can't get your rising sign. So here's a few ways to get it. The first one is you can look at your long birth certificate, official one with the seal. You got to get the one with the seal. Sometimes you can call City Hall and get it. You'll get someone nice on the phone. They're like, let me look it up for you. Okay, you were born at. Or you can ask a family member. Sometimes family members remember what time you were born, which I know might sound weird, but if you have that aunt that sends cards out every year, she might know what time you're born, or, your mom or your dad. The other thing you can do is call the hospital where you were born. And before you tell me the hospital where you were born is gone, a lot of people tell me that, you can call vital records in your state, usually the main city. Like, so for Massachusetts, it's Boston. You can call vital records and check in with them and see if they have it, because they keep all the births and the deaths and the marriages and all that at vital records. So yes, it's going to take a little bit of tracking down, but it's worth it because you can see what your rising sign is. Now, why is that important? Because it is how you present yourself to the world. So when you first meet someone, you're going to usually come off as your rising sign. So people don't usually see me as a Sag. People see me as a Pisces, which is very healing and very spiritual, a bit of, I'm artistic, a bit etheric. So that sort of fits into my presentation wheelhouse. I have purple hair. I got a lot of tattoos. That's very artistic, I like to think. But when you first meet me, that's what you're going to think I am. You're going to think I'm a Pisces or someone that's very healing and very spiritual. But my operating system comes from my sun sign, which is Sagittarius. So after you're hanging out with me for a while, you're going to see the Sag come out. Rising signs are not only how you present yourself to the world. So they call it the mask that you show the world. Okay. Not only that, but it's also how you process information when you first get it. When you're presented with a situation, a job situation, a family situation, whatever, your reaction is going to come off at your rising sign. So like with Jules, with you being a Taurus, you may look at how it's going to affect how the home is going to be. Like, is it,
Right.
are you bringing something into the house that's going to be like, say you were deciding on another pet,
Right. Which
right?
we talk about a lot, and how we're
Yeah,
deciding about it's not the right time, right?
right.
Also, a fun fact about how my Taurus and my Aries bonk heads is when I find something I think is cute furniture wise. And I'm like, oh, we should get it.
Oh,
And then I'm like, but where's it going to go? How's it
right.
going to fit? And I'm like, who cares? And then I do or I don't. And then my Taurus husband is like, where's this going to go in the house? And I'm like, you're right.
Hmm.
Nowhere. Or exactly in this spot, because that part, and then it's like, okay, like I can
All
slow
right.
down and get to that point.
What you're illustrating is the earthy Taurus and the fiery Aries. With the fiery Aries is like, let's get it, let's do some stuff with this. I can put it on this, I can do whatever, right?
I totally
And
ordered
then,
all this stuff on Amazon in the middle of the night because I'm going to do all this stuff and it's going to be
right.
great. And then it gets here and I'm like awake.
Wait
And
a
I look
minute.
at it and I'm like, instantly return. I really don't have any interest in doing this long term.
But that's the practical side comes out and goes, what
It's
were you
like,
thinking?
dude, where are we going to put this in the house?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you going to do with this? Do you really need all of this random craft supply that you're not? You look at it and you're like, maybe I won't.
Right. Didn't you do that with something recently? Like you were like,
I did. That's what I'm thinking of.
okay, that's good. That's all right.
So we're doing okay.
We're doing okay. Yeah.
We're helping ourselves
Mm-hmm.
do our different things.
Yes. You know, it's funny you say that because like a lot of times I'll come up with a creative idea or like an artistic idea and I'm like, oh, I should do all this stuff. So here's an example on mine. So I was like, okay, I come across this reel of this girl who's upcycled a shirt. Now she was on season 14 of Project Runway. Kelly Dempsey, love you, girl,
Yes.
Massachusetts girl. And she upcycles a lot of stuff, shirts and all that. And one of her, she had a video where she upcycled a shirt. And then I went into the rabbit hole of all her stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she made pants out of curtains.
Yes.
It was amazing. So I'm like, okay. So then I watch her, how do you thrift? So I ended up at Savers and I was like going through the curtain section, picking out stuff. So meanwhile, in my car right now, I have 3 bags of things from Savers between belts and shirts and like curtains and like duvet. I have all this stuff. And so I'm like, all right, I can't return it to Savers. Savers is like, no, you can't return this stuff. So I'm like, all right. But I'm also preventing myself from going out and buying more stuff to like, I'm like, let me do this stuff first.
You got it. I believe
and then
in you.
Thank you. And then I'm like, and then I will look at something else. And you know, and I think sometimes we kind of get like in this like real creative thing. We're gonna do this for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah. I get a random wild hair and then I'm just like, why don't I do this? And then I'm like really proud of myself, honestly, about the bracelet thing that I was like, you're never gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed fun at the time, but it got here and it's like, nah.
But at least she didn't keep the stuff, you know, that's important. So
I know I only kept some cute beads that have like letters and hearts and stuff on them, but in like rose gold. And then maybe we'll make bracelets for when we go to Trixie and Katya.
Ooh, see, I like that.
We just make them our friends. And that's
I don't think there's anything wrong with making them our friends. I like this idea and we should do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, that was great.
Just be our friends.
Yeah, just be our friends. But that's the thing. Your rising sign is what people perceive you to be. So if you're talking to someone and they guess your sign, they might be guessing your rising sign because of how you're presenting yourself. I don't know if you guys ever play that game. I play that game sometimes and I can tell what someone, just by some of their characteristics and what they do, you can kind of pick up on it.
Oh,
yeah,
hey,
it's fun.
Quick sidebar, but it is related, I swear.
I know.
Is that like, how do you feel about people saying stuff like their rising sign shows up in like facial features and stuff? Is there anything to that? Am I making that up?
For some people, that's true. Like Leos definitely have
like good hair.
Oh my God, the hair on Leos. Ooh, you know. Aquarians a little eccentric. Aquarians definitely look at the world logically a little differently. So they're gonna look a little different.
As the parent of one, I agree.
Yeah, there's just something about them that kind of gives off that
scientist vibe.
That scientist, that's the right word. Yes, the scientist vibe. Yeah, so I think some signs carry different characteristics of
Yeah,
their bodies carry the characteristics of.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, bless our Gemini, sometimes they're different faces depending on what day you talk to them because they're the twins. They're the
Right, right.
twins. Scorpio's very smoldering, sexy. So some Scorpios are very mysterious. Like when you meet them, you're like, "Ooh, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, oh, hello, you know. Um, hello there. I absolutely think that's true for different signs depending on the sign. Good to know because it's part of the big three. So it's part of your moon sign, which is how you process emotions, part of your
Mhm.
sun, which is your core processing, if you want to say,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
rising is really how you show yourself to the world. So that's why sometimes not a conflict per se, but you might just have a ton of different interests because your sun sign and your rising sign are just so different. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a Cancer sun sign and then Aquarius rising, those are going to be two very different energies.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
Virgo rising and a Aries sun, also different energy. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but all of these things combine into who people are. So if you know your sun, you know your rising, and you know your moon, those things can tell you a lot. So I think when you're dating people or you're in like work relationships, there's nothing wrong with checking in and seeing people's like signs in their rising and all that. I mean, I know in some
Mhm.
corporate environments they'd be like, what? But you can always fit that in into a little like team building thing, like what's your
Ooh.
sign kind of thing, you know, and that can be fun because even knowing their sun sign gives you what
I'm not laughing at you.
you
In my
are.
mind, you said that no, no, in like a team building exercise. And then all I could think was like, oh, great, great. What's your birth time? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
And then just like clicky, 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 clicky. Like,
I mean, what's
oh,
wrong
it's
with
just for
it?
fun.
Yeah, it's just for fun. Right. Guys, don't trust someone who's telling they're learning astrology because they might be, but the person they're learning it from wants your information. Like
So they
I've
can
told
tell them all about you.
Mhm. I've told plenty of people, I'm like, get his birth time, get all his information. I'll tell you what his story is. Why
Right?
not? Forewarned is forearmed.
There you
That's what
go.
I say. Yeah. So that's what a rising sign's about. So important to know, guys. I would definitely check your chart out for that. We're going to talk about that in the like in the class you were talking about, Jules, that we're doing. But you know, you guys can always ask us about it. Should we go through the different signs?
Yeah, let's give them
Jules,
some info.
rising signs. I'm going to talk about them by element. So we've got our Aries, our Leo, and our Sag. So those are
Mhm.
our fire rising signs. So usually these folks look like they want to take action. They're the leaders. They're the people who want to be recognized for their talents and strengths, especially our Leos. Aries, definitely you will know them, hear them. Uh, Aries are not shy. I mean, that would love Jules. You're not, which is good, which is great.
Mhm.
Sages will try to make a joke, and Leos will want to be recognized for what they bring to the table. So that's fire rising signs.
Nice.
If we're working with earth rising signs, so our Taurus, our Virgos, our Capricorns, these are our
Mhm.
organizers, our system makers, our rule watchers, our career oriented people. So these people are very serious about work and about money and
Mhm.
abundance. And so if you want someone to work with, I mean, these are the rising signs of the earth are totally the ones that can put you on track and keep you organized and keep you to meet your deadlines. With
Mhm.
Julie's rising sign, that definitely happens for us guys because otherwise, forget it on this
I
side.
like a
Yeah,
planner.
it's true.
I
That's
here
you.
I'm a little more Aries on this show, but like
Yeah,
people at work, I'm much more of like a they're like, oh, you're just so organized and put together.
you are.
Thanks.
You are, which I love about you. Thank God.
Am I? Is it just the mask
It's at the
that we
mask.
present to the world?
Right? It's fascinating in a way. You're like, huh, what does
Yeah.
that come out? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we have our bless our water signs, our cancers, our Scorpios are Pisces rising signs, and these are our folks that can appear very sensitive. They can appear very emotional, but not in a way necessarily that they're freaking out and crying. More of just like they're very in
Sure.
touch with their emotions. They get touched by things emotionally. So I
Yeah.
feel you'll hear them say stuff like, "I feel things." Um,
Yeah.
I feel this way. So yeah, our rising water signs are all about the emotional stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they really love the water too. You'll hear them; they love the water. And then we have our air rising signs, which are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So there are thinkers. There are folks that I think about things. Have we thought about this? Here's an idea. They like details, 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 details. They want to hear everything before they make a decision. So a lot of that, like, intellectual, let's look that up kind of person, whereas like someone like me be like, what do you feel about that? Like, how are you feeling? Air signs are, what do you know? Fire signs are, what do you do? And earth signs is, what's in front of me?
Yeah.
Did I hit all of them? Let's see. Water is what I feel.
Yeah, you got them all.
Yeah, I got them all. Okay. Air is
it made me realize that both of my children are air rising signs, and I was like, this makes sense.
What do I think? Yeah. What do I think? So, and the fire signs are, what do I do? What am I doing? What's the action? So that can tell you a lot. Knowing these things helps you speak the language of other people. So if I hear someone saying, I think a lot, I might say, well, here's the thoughts I had on that. And then I'm speaking their language.
There you go.
I feel this way about that. I want to do this about that. You know what I mean? I know this. Let's look that up. Let's get some more data that's practical. How much does that cost?
Yeah.
How long will that take? That's an earth rising thing. Yeah. So again, use that to speak other people's languages. Listen to hear what they're saying, because if you're a thinker and someone around you is a feeling person, and you say, well, I think this, and the person's like, well, I feel that, you're going to bounce off each other, maybe a way that's not so good. You might not hear each other. Yeah.
Try to super important.
Meet them. Yeah. Meet them where they are. That makes more things happen. So Jules, what do you think? Have we given the people all kinds of good information today?
I think so. I also think nice season 1 level rambled at the beginning, and it was fun.
Yes.
And then I also think that maybe they have more questions and they can ask us them. You can email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com, and we will answer your questions. You can take your class. Mary has classes on these things all the time. You should check those out. And let us know, and maybe we'll go a little more in depth on some Patreon if you're one of our patrons. So
that's right.
Lots of options. Give us the feedback, people. We want it.
Please.
We love you all. Let us know. Don't feel like you can't tell us.
Tell us.
You can absolutely tell us.
Amen.
We're dying to hear. We want to know.
We want to know. We are the ones that want to know. We want to hear it. We want to feel it. We want to know it. So, to my loves out there, as we all say, you are magic.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club, and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now, because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.